Hello and welcome to this edition of the show, Digivation Network on AIT Production, or Infotech Production if you like. I am Bayero Agabe. This edition is a very special one. It's special because it features an exclusive first of its kind on also by interview with the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC, Professor Gaba Umar Dabata. In this interview, you will get to know why and how 9Mobile survived and its staff remained. From the regulator's plans on poor internet provision in Nigeria to increase broadband penetration in Nigeria, we also ask him, the EVC, if he wants to be known whether he is a punitive regulator or not. Stay with us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mojisola Alabi, a professional accountant and an event manager. Where will you be on the 7th of December 2017? Here comes West Africa's biggest mobile and digital economic conference, NIMES 2017, endorsed and adopted by Nigerian Ministry of Communications and powered by Sept. The theme this year is the mobile economic impact in Nigeria. Policy, innovation, and investment. The Nigerian Mobile Economic Conference is West Africa's biggest mobile and digital economic platform since 2012, parading speakers you have never seen or heard. Come learn what technology can do for you and your business, from tourism, culture, entertainment, manufacturing, trading, SME, and education. Come join great and upcoming organizations from both the public and private players in the West Africa economic space. It's for all, including you and your business or idea. The Nigerian Mobile Economic Summit and Expo 2017, where creativity, innovation makes meaning. Don't forget, it's 7th December 2017 at the Oriental Hotel, Lagos. 9 a.m. is the time. Register to attend at www.nigerianmobileeconomysummit.com.ng. Join us.
Madam.
Welcome, sir.
Give me a bar.
Okay.
Correct. One or more. Same.
Okay.
Take out enjoy times 4. This now the levels of MTN. I will for you. I will for me. I will try for everybody. Times 4. I will for you.
I will for me. I will for you. I will for everybody.
With MTN Awu for you, every day na jolly oh. Anytime when you recharge from 100 naira, MTN go sama you 4 times your recharge. Where you fit take call, text or browse. Meaning say you go get 4 times the value. Chai! Just dial *888 star the recharge pin hash to enjoy this better Awu. This offer now for only MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. Terms and conditions they shall.
MTN, everywhere you go.
It's Digivation Network, Africa's leading ICT program and business platform on television. And I am Bayero Agabe. It's no longer news that the telecom sector added about 1.5 trillion naira to Nigerian economy in the second quarter of this year. However, the growth of service providers contracted. This reduced Nigeria's teledensity from 110% to 99%. This same year has seen the exit of a major operator and reduction of income for some others. Before now, the Nigerian telecom sector has been seen as the poster boy of the Nigerian economy or government, with investment pouring in unabated, and teledensity grew to over 100%. The questions now are mixed, from poor internet connection to poor growth, and the growth of broadband yet to be enjoyed by Nigerians. In this no-hold-barred encounter with the leadership of Africa's biggest regulator, Professor Umar Dambata, the EVC of NCC, I asked him if it's time to really worry?
Well, it's okay for stakeholders to express concern about what is happening in the industry, but I hope they will acknowledge the way and manner we have been containing, this call them developments that are, that are not expected. We call them unexpected developments in the telecom space in this country. And I think the regulator should be in a position to provide safeguards, in order to protect unwelcome or unexpected developments. And we should be judged by our ability, the regulator that is, should be judged by, the ability of the regulator to ensure when there are unexpected developments in the telecommunications, industry, that the regulator is equal to the task. And, the regulator comes up with, remedial measures that will ensure, the stability of the industry. Okay? And when you're talking about the particular operator, without mentioning names, that is exactly what we did. And we had it at the back of our minds that we need to have an item, on our 8-point agenda that anticipates, such, unwelcome or unexpected, developments in the market. And that is why we have that strategic collaboration and partnership. It was deliberate. Okay? You see, I keep saying that a vision must have, if you like, a narrative. It must hold that compelling narrative about the future for all stakeholders. And that is exactly how I want you to situate that item of our 8-point agenda. We acted, in collaboration with the CVN, and we have succeeded through that intervention to put in place an interim board and interim management, and assisted, the telco that is having a problem to rebrand. They have a brand, a new brand, which they are now using to provide services to Nigerians. The three key issues that we saw coming that made us to intervene in the manner that we did, where, and they still are. One, the perception of an investor about the industry. If we have, telcos within the industry, having problems without, the regulator showing any concern, without remedial measures being put in place to ensure, stability of the industry, then the NCC would have been, put in a spot. But as it is, we acted timely. We've saved the particular telco I'm talking about. We have ensured that 2,000 to 3,000 Nigerians on the payroll of that particular sector continue.
Secured.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
More than that, the more than 18 to 20 million subscribers, that are on the network of that particular operator still enjoy services.
So does that mean that you do not envisage any of this occurrence from any of the operators right now?
If such an occurrence again happens, then we have acquired usable experience already.
But is this something you envisage right now?
Well, going by what is happening in the industry, we decided we cannot wait until it happens. We have already initiated a process of doing a health check on all the operating companies in Nigeria, the telecommunications companies.
Is on right now.
It is going on as I'm talking to you. And that is to show you that the regulator, I think we expect, an interim report to come in the next couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so carrying out the health check does indicate that you expect that maybe something of this nature can happen.
Well, I'm glad you used the word maybe, But I am one who is, not disposed to jump into conclusions.
Okay.
If there's a process that is ongoing, as an engineer, I would rather wait and look at the outcome of that process. What are the facts and figures that will support, even if it is a hypothesis?
Yeah.
Because I may have the wrong hypothesis.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm disposed to wait until I have preliminary, a preliminary report before me that points to where we are going.
Some of the critics who sees you as an imposing regulator. By that I mean a regulator who has, who does not take nonsense from operators. How do you react to that?
I think I would like to see myself judged by the operators as a team player, a listening regulator. If at all people see me as a nonsense regulator, it is because
not access, as an imposing,
as imposing
regulator.
No, I don't want to be feared. I want to be seen as a team player, an important part of the value chain within the industry. Okay, a regulator, who listens. Okay, and I have been doing that since my appointment at the EVC. Where I do not hesitate is when we see a clear case of regulatory breach. And Byro, we are not in a haste to sanction breach. That is why it says, first of all, do compliance monitoring always. That is the name of the department, in the NCC.
Yeah.
It is called compliance monitoring and enforcement. And that is the chronology, we observe when trying to ensure adherence to the stipulations of the commission. That, in a nutshell, is the rule of engagement. One that is consultative, collaborative, one that lends credence to the importance of listening. You listen first, okay? Even where we establish breach, we would like to know what led to the breach. And if there's a convincing argument to justify the breach, then we say it should not happen again, and we move on.
Absolutely. that's very good for me. Okay, so let us now take a look at the data services.
Good.
Because from the evolution that we have seen,
Yes.
Voice has become just an add-on.
Correct.
It's no longer the major issue.
I agree.
So with data becoming the major issue, infrastructure for data in Nigeria is a major headache.
It is.
Okay, how are you addressing this to ensure that we enjoy what we pay for?
Okay, to buttress what you just said, the statistics we have for July exactly, support what you just stated. Voice subscription is going down. It has gone down to 138 million, down by more than 10 million. But the data subscription, data usage is going for the 7 months. We noticed that, okay? And one would expect that telecommunications companies are making more money than they were making, from, mobile voice services and SMS. But I know that consumers are very clever. Consumers are migrating to data services because of the high tariff for voice and SMS. And fortunately, the data services enable you to, in any case, enjoy voice services. Okay, talking about the WhatsApp and so on and so forth, Exactly. So, we are in a situation where we do not want to infringe on the rights of Nigerians to, communicate using the social media networks. But then there is an argument, a flip side of the argument is that they are pre-riding on infrastructure.
Yes.
You know, infrastructure they do not invest in.
Yes.
And the debate, as I'm talking to you, is going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's not confined to Nigeria alone.
Yes.
It's all over the world. Wherever I go, I hear this, pros and cons of what is happening in the social media space. So, we are concerned that until and unless something is done to provide more infrastructure capacity, then even the data services will encounter problems. Okay? Problems in terms of capacity, in terms of speed, in terms of coverage. Okay? And what can we do to stimulate investment in provision of fourth generation networks? Because we talk about OTTs as post generation communications applications. That is what they call them. And there's a reason for this. They are indeed. These are applications that thrive and are supported or hosted on fourth generation infrastructure. Do we have enough of that infrastructure? Is it adequate? The answer is no. And that is why we have a race against time in this country to ensure the remaining infracos are licensed, to ensure we allow partnership for those that are already licensed with Google and Facebook to come in and invest in the provision of more and more infrastructure in this country. So this is what is going on now. And the sooner we can do this, the better. And I want to assure you that the Nigerian Communications Commission is on top of this. We're about to conclude the process. You know, you remember I gave a word. You know, in Lagos, I don't want to repeat myself, but we are just about to conclude the process, and licensed infracos for the remaining zones will be known very soon.
But that does not include that the OTT will be monitored or managed.
We appreciate what is happening, you know, in the OTT space or in the OTT subsector of the telecommunications sector of the economy. And proactively, I think we have established a committee to look, into this issue of OTTs. And I don't want to preempt the outcome of, the committee's work. But this is what is going on in other countries of the world. Everybody is thinking about what to do without curtailing the freedom guaranteed under the Constitution, for people to express themselves, And I think there is no better medium that Nigerians can do this, better than the social media networks. So, this is the whole essence of networking the society. More openness, more sharing, more self-organization. This is a new culture. And this culture is facilitated by the telecommunications network. Now, but if we are looking at a situation, increasingly we are concerned that this telecommunications network may not contend with the sheer size of capacity needed to facilitate a robust social, networking.
So
then something must be done very, very fast.
Exactly. Far away from, preempting, the
committee on OTTs.
Yes, on OTTs.
Of course.
But personally, would you agree that, the OTTs be, commercialized in such a way by the networks?
Okay. One, I want to say this, and I want to say it unambiguously, that OTTs stimulate demand for data.
Yes.
Don't we agree? We must agree.
Yes.
It equally stimulates demand for network expansion.
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a situation where we have demand for monetizable data.
Yes.
And demand for expansion of the networks. And therefore, there is one addition, and I agree with this, that OTTs stimulate investment on post-generation networks. Because to compete, a regulator must invest to expand their data network. Isn't it? Exactly. Now, but should they be free riding? Should OTTs pre-ride on these networks? Or do we find a way that we can say someone invested for these networks? So can you come in and, shoulder some aspect of this investment, by say paying some taxes, okay, for services rendered over networks that quite okay, you stimulated investment in, but now that they are in place, there is need for these networks, to continue to exist, to be sustainable, okay? And we know we need to maintain the networks, we need to service them from time to time, we need to pay people looking after them, okay? So this overhead cost is supposed to be something that is shared across all stakeholders.
Exactly. But just as the users of the social media space have the right to be heard, the owners of the providers of the infrastructure
need to be heard.
Which they ride
need to be heard too.
Need to be heard.
I agree.
Monetize.
I agree.
Exactly.
So you owe this to us, you the media people, to start sensitizing Nigerians that here we have a clear case of a win-win situation. Okay, you want a robust social media network, you can have it. Okay, but at a certain affordable cost. The word affordable is very, very important. Now, what happens if we do not agree on that is, the degradation of the network. The networks will not be able to do what we want them to do for us, and therefore the vibrancy of the social media network will be undermined.
As we begin to wind down, because of lack of time for this conversation.
Yes.
You came up, but you are about 2 years on the saddle right now, and you came up with, an 8-point agenda.
Yes.
To what extent would you say you can hit your chest and be proud of what you have done?
Well, thank you very much. Like you rightly said, we don't have time. I would have loved to pick each item of the agenda.
It depends on your time.
Right, okay. Well, look at the facilitating broadband penetration. We have succeeded in selling or in auctioning spectrum that we had in our foundation, because the regulator has no business giving spectrum. We have replanned, we have refarmed, and we have in the process of doing this pre-up spectrum. And as I'm talking to you now, the 2.6 gig spectrum with a slot of about 14, these slots have gone. And MTN collected 6. Intercellular has been assigned recently, another 6, and we have assigned the remaining 2 to Open Skies as compensation for the spectrum that was taken away from them because it was a police spectrum. So Open Skies surrendered the spectrum, and government directed that an alternative spectrum should be given to them at no cost. So all the 14 slots have gone. This will serve, to stimulate telecommunication services, especially first generation LTE services. Okay. Now, when you move on to, the other aspect, when you auction this important resource, I'm talking about the spectrum, then you need infrastructure. The two go together. All right. And as I'm talking to you now, I met 2 licensees, Impraco licensees. I was the one who assigned actually the licenses to them. Main one for Lagos and iConnect for the North Central Zone. As I'm talking to you, we're talking about how to implement the subsidy agreement. The Impraco license comes with a subsidy agreement. We have gone beyond the license, assignment, and we're talking about how to implement the subsidy agreement. We have put in place an implementation monitoring committee for infrastructure deployment, and they're busy. They were the ones who supervise the process of licensing the remaining 5.
You use the internet very well.
I do.
Are you happy with what you get?
I'm
each
not.
time you pay?
I'm not. And I tell you why. The speed
Yeah.
in the national broadband plan says 1.5 megabits per second. In places like Lagos, you may get higher speeds. Okay? In places like Kano, where I come, you hardly can get speeds of more than 500 kilobits per second. It's too slow. Okay? Now, the disadvantage of having very, very slow internet, speed is that you can't virtually do anything. You can't send simple mails. You can't upload any document.
You have paid for it.
Exactly. And even the data that we're talking about, that is going up.
Yeah.
That is in terms of consumption by Nigerians. We are having to contend with slow connectivity. And most of the plans are limited in terms of time. Okay, so you have this large amount of data bundle which you subscribed and paid for, but unfortunately, which you cannot use
Is it there anything
because of the slow
NCC
nature
can do
of
about it?
connectivity. We are insisting that network operators should give value for money. If connectivity is too slow for the amount that innocent subscribers are paying, then connectivity must improve. Connectivity can only improve if there's capacity in the network.
My ABC, I must thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I really
Bye.
enjoyed it. It was a thorough one. That's Professor Gamba Umar Dambata there on the state of Nigeria telecom sector as Nigeria emerges from recession. A very big thank you to the NCC and its leadership for the time. That is the show for the week. For more on these interviews, please log on to www.digivision.com.ng. Plus, better still, just text the number on your screen. Until then, I remain yours sincerely, Bayero Agabi. Peace.